Hi, my name is Hannah and this is my very first year teaching. I had my very first day of school 4 weeks ago and I feel like it might help when looking at this list. The last one I'm going to talk about is the one that I think is the most important and will have the biggest effect on the rest of the school year. But they're just going to be very practical things that you can do that I feel like will make your very first day and first week a much easier experience. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Number one, I wish I had run through attendance with a current teacher here because on the first day of school, I knew what app did attendance, but when I clicked on it, I just struggled a little bit, like finding the classes, what do different acronyms mean. I just wish I had run through it one time because that's one more thing that you're like being exposed to on your first day of school that is just gonna make it a little bit more difficult. Number two, number the desks. This has been one of the best things that I've done. I started off the class saying, hey, I'm gonna call you out by your numbers, don't be offended. Eventually I'm going to learn your names. You are important, you're not a number, but I'm going to call you by your number for this very first week. I would be like, number 14, do you have a question? Or number 7, stay on task. You know, like you can immediately call attention to somebody without knowing their name. And I don't know how I would have done that had I not had their numbers. The numbers are also coordinated by color, so it was really quick. We had like a few group activities to just put them in groups and be like, all right, let's have the purples and pinks go against the blues and greens. I still use the numbers a lot today. They were good. Number 3. So number 3, I'm embarrassed by. This was the biggest mistake I probably made on the first week of school. My second period is planning. At the end of my first period, the bell didn't ring. And I kept my first period into literally 30 minutes of their second period. Yeah, because I didn't, like the bell didn't ring, so I just kept rolling with it. I just kept teaching, and yeah. It's nice to have the schedule posted because you can quickly glance over and be like, okay, I have 10 more minutes. I can do this in 10 minutes. Number 4, have extra activities, extra worksheets, extra mini lessons to go over on the first week of school because I feel like the schedule is all wonky. I had like a mini lesson that I made about like Roman numerals and how to read clock because my clock in the classroom is a Roman numeral clock. You know, this or that, like the Coke or Pepsi. So I'd be like, if you like Coke, go on this side of the room, Pepsi on this side of the room, mountains or beach, cats or dogs. What I would do to incorporate math is I would be like, all right, so we have 16 people over here who like dogs and 8 over here who like cats. What does that look like as a ratio? What percent of people like cats? What percent of people like dogs? How many more people would have to like cats in order to have 50% of the class like cats? They really enjoyed it because they got to move around, and I think that first week of school, they're typically silent and have to stay in their desk. Number 5, don't wear footwear you're not used to wearing, and not just used to wearing, but wearing all day. I wore heels on the first day of school, which like, it comes with a sacrifice. Like I felt good doing it, you know, like I felt taller and like more in charge, but like at the end of the day, my feet really hurt, and I don't know that the trade-off was worth it. Number 6, run through your syllabus. I briefly ran through it and I was like, oh, this will take like 45 minutes to go over. I had a PowerPoint that went with it, and it ended up taking like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and so I had a lot of extra time on that very first period. So again, like with the having extra worksheet and extra activities to fill up the time, I think that'll make a big difference. Number 7, and this one is a big deal because I had no idea how much paperwork there was going to be on the very first week. I had a syllabus quiz, I started lesson 1, and so it's important to start grading those papers immediately. Yesterday was Labor Day, and I came in and I worked for 12 hours straight. I organized my desk, I organized my classroom, and that took a long time just going through all of the paperwork, and then I ended up grading, I think, 500 pieces of paper. Like, it was actually crazy. It was so much. I know that on your first week of school, the last thing you want to do is go home and grade papers, but if you don't do it, it will catch up to you and you're gonna end up feeling more overwhelmed. Number 8, somebody gave me this advice and I just didn't listen to it, but I wish that I had, obviously, because it's a part of this list. Ask your administration or another teacher for a tour. Number 9, I wish I had done this so badly. I tried to pass out every single paper on my first week of school. It took forever, 1. 2, it was hard to keep the students on task when I was passing out papers. When I started having students pass out papers and just do like small tasks that like take up teacher time, like have students check other students' work and have students check to make sure each other's desk area is clear. And number 10, and this is the most important thing, and that is classroom discipline. On the first day of school, be prepared to deal with discipline. For example, in different classes, I would have kids raise their hand or just say out a distracting, humorous, non-constructive, non-relevant comment, and it derailed the conversation, 1. And so it was best for me to just immediately say, that was an off-topic comment, this isn't the time for that, stay after class. Because I think the longer you go without saying something, the more likely it is that kids will feel the freedom to just say whatever they want all the time. And that's just not going to be conducive to a good learning environment. Address the small things, come up with word tracks, and don't be afraid to write a write-up. I know that sounds harsh, but my administration wrote up write-ups the very first week, and so I felt the freedom to do that as well. I actually didn't need to, but I definitely did say, hey, this is your warning next time you are getting a write-up. At least me, for my write-ups, I have a conversation with them before I administer it every single time, so I'll be like, hey, your write-up is because of this, this is what's going on. And I don't give it to them every time, depending on their attitude. So those are the 10 things that I wish I knew 4 weeks ago. And if I had, I feel like it would have helped me. Although it's not like if I had those 10 things, I would have had the perfect, most seamless, easygoing week. I think that those things will help you have a more successful, smooth time. Thank you guys so much for watching.